Alright then, after a very long hiatus from doing these, I'm finally getting back into these. So this is the one-hole designer tutorial series. The aim of this video series was to make one hole, but to do several different pieces of course creation within the one hole and break it down into a series of videos so that you could jump into any part and get something that you were looking for help with. So, um, these videos are some things that I missed that have been requested by some people in the community. Taking me forever to get to these, but this should be a pretty quick one. This one's going to deal with cart paths. The biggest problem that a lot of people have with cart paths is getting them to look smooth, the corners of the cart paths, and then going over any hills. So we're going to take a look at that. In previous videos, we had laid heavy rough after we laid our fairway, the light rough, and the rough over here. And what you end up with is the natural earth going around here. And I like to lay the cart paths along wherever you lay your heavy rough. If you lay it through the heavy rough, you kind of have this pattern of heavy rough, cart path, heavy rough, and then the natural earth, and it just kind of looks much nicer when you have heavy rough, cart path, and then go back to the natural earth. So if I'm paying attention to how this hole is going to lay out, I want the cart path to be on the left side because that follows the fairway going all the way around, where if I started on the right side, I would have to cut out a hole in my fairway to get it to cross over. So just got to pay attention to that before you get started. And then the main thing with cart paths that you want to do to get them to stop from looking too jagged is to actually just hit the apply button, whatever that would be for you, or sorry, the place point button, just multiple times. Just keep constantly pressing it as you move, and to kind of know your route before you go. So this may take us a couple times, but we'll go ahead and get started. So like I said, literally I'm just jamming this as often as possible. This is going to make for a smooth line as opposed to a kind of jagged outline, and at the end will look very smooth. Your cart path, the cart paths in HB in the golf club are nice, but they do kind of look, I don't know, they just look a little off, like cartoony to me. It's not really a huge issue. HB knows what they're doing. They just, I don't know, it looks a little awkward. They can be used as a visual thing. It's nice to see cart paths just kind of rolling in the distance, but it's really up to you on whether or not you want to use them. I always put them in just because they do add a sense of realism to the course. I'm not really sure how I want to say that, but we will have to come back here. I can see myself adding in some dips. You want to try to avoid hills when you're doing this. Take a look at what this looks like here. These green dots do get in the way when you decide to lay it down like this, so we'll have to go into playtest mode to see what it looks like here. But as you can see from the dots, I mean, this is a very smooth looking line. When you only do point to point to point, it can look kind of square and jagged, so it doesn't always look great. Let's go into playtest, see how this turned out. Yep, off to the left there. Like I said, there's a nice transition on the left there where it goes heavy rough to cart path over back to light rough. I'm not going to change the color of the cart path, although I'll show you how to if you want. I'm just not going to get into it for this video. Kind of curls off way at the end there. So that looks pretty nice. Whenever you highlight over the cart path, once you lay it down, you do have some options up here in the top. Delete will delete the single point you're on. Delete path will delete the entire strand. Add to path I never mess with. Mirror handles I never mess with. Sharpen and smooth I never mess with. I don't mess with any of those things because when you do the very rapid clicking like this, it gets you the smooth path that you want without having to do this. The distance tool pops up, which is something I always like. Path width you can mess with, although that does take a long time to adjust. I always leave it on normal, but you can change that if you want. Oh, now it's going to take forever because I held it down. There we go. You can move a waypoint, which is moving the individual yellow thing, again, because we've clicked as many times as we can. there's no point. I would just be setting that way out there. And then swap textures, like I said, if you wanted to change up the look of it. But we won't deal with that for now. We have just a couple more videos coming up, but that concludes this one. So, till then.